Hi, hello, welcome to the Subtlety Podcast. Today we will be talking about everything Star Wars. I'm Pep.
I'm Junie, and the guests for this episode are.
Riff.
Sandro.
And shrimp.
Alright, so it's Star Wars Day,
May the
and
4th.
everyone
May the
loves Star
fourth be with
Wars.
you.
Everyone loves
Everybody
Star
loves
Wars.
Star Wars.
So we're gonna be going over a lot of topics, and I hope you guys enjoy this heavy and heated discussion. So, to start us off, what we like about Star Wars and why, Junie?
Oh, me first. God. Okay, fine. So, um,
Oh,
I guess the best part about Star Wars for me is it was the very first science fiction related series that I ever watched as a kid. I mean, yeah, I got Back to the Future, which is my favorite, but Star Wars was the first. You know, it had that classic, at least the first one. It had that classic hero's journey that we all know and love. You know, and it's been a staple of pop culture for a very long time. Even my dad watched the first movie apparently, and I'd watched Revenge of the Sith with him when I was a kid. So yeah, growing Star Wars has been an integral part of my life growing up. So that's why I really love it.
Alright. Okay, my turn. So, same as Junie, but somewhat different. Like, I grew up with Star Wars because of my mom, and she was like a really big Star Wars nerd. Like, she had the lightsabers, she had the little toys, the ships, and all of that. And when I was born, like, it was around essentially after episode 6, right? And so what she did when I was a little kid, before the premiere of episode 1, she made me watch episode 4, 5, and 6. Like, imagine like a little kid, like 3, 4 years old, like seeing all of that shit. Like, yeah, I totally understand this, but I didn't. But I loved every single minute of it, and ever since then, like I've always just loved Star Wars. All right,
Oh,
you guys.
I think for me, what I loved about Star Wars was that I actually did not get into it at first because of the movies.
yeah, same.
Yes. Okay. You can comment about that later. But I fell in love with it initially because of the video games that I played when I was younger.
Okay.
Um, I fell in love with Star Wars because of this old game called Star Wars Jedi Knight,
Hmm.
and it was really fun for me, and it introduced to me like a whole level of sci-fi that I wasn't expecting. And then after I was introduced to it from video games, I eventually watched the movies when I was around 8 years old or something. And that's when I really started to really appreciate the deeper lore behind Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is pretty much the same as Rift. I started really, really young. I'm not sure if you guys heard of Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. That was my start. I absolutely loved that game. I played it on my PSP. And on that same PSP, I also played the original Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
And I was just so intrigued by the world, the lore, the characters that I just delved deeper. And, well, I'm in this rabbit hole now. I can't get out no matter
One
how
of
hard I
us.
try.
Sandra, how about you?
What?
Oh,
Hi, man.
okay.
No, that was Jaime.
That was Sandro. Hi, man.
Yes.
No, that was Jaime.
No,
Oh,
I was the one that just stopped.
no.
Yeah, it was. It
Sorry
was
about that. Yeah, it was Jaime. Sorry about that.
What? Oh my god. I'm gonna edit.
That was
I'm gonna edit that. You guys sound so similar.
Sorry about that. No, because I forgot to put my I forgot to
Okay.
put my earphones on, so it kind of like reflected that I was talking, but it was actually Jaime. Sorry about that.
Okay, so Sandra, what do you think about what How about you? How did you get into Star Wars, and what did you like about it?
Okay, so like cuz we ended up living in my lola's house like when I was around 8 or 7 years old, and my tita would collect like a shitload of movies with like the classic DVD. And then when I remember once, like I was going through her stash and I found the original VHS of A New Hope.
Oh damn.
Oh damn.
Whoa,
Yo.
yo!
Yeah.
Damn.
So I was like, you know, I don't know what the hell this is, but like I'm like really into like aliens and stuff. I honestly thought it was something about aliens because all the sci-fi at that time that I was watching was like aliens invading the earth and shit. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, I might as well put this on. And then so I put on A New Hope, and I got like I was totally blown away, to be honest. And then after that I watched 5 and 6. Then after watching all the movies, I got the PS2 game, the Revenge of the Sith PS2 game, the one with the scenes from the movie before even the movie was released
Ah,
and all that.
Mm.
So that's how I got into it.
okay. All right. Junie, do you want to give us our next topic?
Okay. Topic for today is actually a very controversial one. So, what do you guys think, or who do you guys think is the worst Star Wars character?
Ay.
Pep, would you like to begin?
Okay, honestly, I've been thinking about that question the most, like prior to starting, and honestly, I can't pick one, so I kind of want to actually alter that question. Top
Right.
two worst. Hmm. It saves me like a dime a dozen, really, because I was like teeter tottering. Honestly, I would say either like Rose or Jar Jar.
Mm, Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Jar Jar. I agree on Jar
Mm.
Jar.
What, you liked Rose?
Okay. I wish she had. Okay.
Defend
I
himself.
wish she had
Rose is
more to
probably
do in the
better than the
story.
character than he thought.
You know, like, but honestly, like for me, one of the worst characters in the whole thing is the Galactic Trade Federation, the guy with the big eyes.
Guy with the
Forgot
big
that.
eyes.
Big,
The people with the big eyes that have the weird accent.
Oh. Is this the same
the
race?
Viceroy? Are you talking about the
The
Viceroy?
Viceroy, yeah, yeah, like Newt
Uh,
Like
Gunray or
Viceroy
something.
Yeah,
Gunray?
yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. He was
Wait,
such a loser, dude. I'm like, eh.
can I just ask you, why did you think he was the worst character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
'Cause-
every scene he was in, he was like, "Oh, they're going through the door."
Okay, I mean, yeah, they had the worst lines, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
like, dude, like what? They kept on losing and losing. I'm like,
I
why are you
mean,
guys in the story? Like, the whole reason why the prequels was kind of shit for me, like, revolved around those characters, that took away from the original story that I wanted to see with the prequels.
okay.
Reviewing it again, since
okay.
we did just watch the prequels yesterday. I kind of remembered how stupid those guys were.
Alright.
Okay.
Especially,
Okay,
like, ooh, she's
Okay,
not
okay, okay.
dying.
Let's get back on track. Who wants to go next?
as the person who is streaming the prequels tonight today, I can assure you, I could not take it after a while of listening to those lines, but those didn't really equate to becoming the worst Star Wars character for me because I had to blame that on the writers.
Yeah.
And for me, the worst Star Wars character is, I'm sorry if you guys like the sequel trilogy somehow, but it's Ray.
I
I
I agree with
yeah,
I
that.
okay.
I
Hot take.
dislike Ray because her character development just went out the window,
It's
or
non-existent.
rather, it's
Yeah.
it's so stuttered. It's stuttered growth to the point where you don't know where her character will lead to. It started off her as a scavenger, and then it just went all over the place by the eighth episode. And in the ninth episode, she's suddenly a Jedi Master. And then she takes on the name I'm a Skywalker. And I could not take that anymore. So yeah, that was the worst Star Wars character for me. Sandra, how about you?
Well, okay. I mean, somebody mentioned Rose, so I think it's kind of redundant if I mention Rose again.
No, but
So,
if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel.
but
Mhm.
like, here I have like a very interesting take on another sequel character. I think he has a very very unfulfilled character arc. I think they didn't use him properly in the series.
Go for it.
Wait, sorry.
Um, so this is Finn. I actually have
Finn.
a really really
Yeah,
big
yeah,
problem
yeah.
with the characterization of Finn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean basically like in Force Awakens, like he was said to be like having this really deep connection with Rey, and like he was going with her in this whole adventure, and then suddenly in eight, it was like thrown out the window with Rose, and this guy who's literally been with Rey since the very has no connection to the story whatsoever. It's like what? So
Mm,
I just feel like he was a very wasted character in a sense.
Yeah.
How about you,
Okay.
Shrimp?
Well, Rift already mentioned characters in episode 8, and I kind of want to add on to that. It's General Holdo. My god. Fucking Holdo, dude. Can I just say, her character arc, quote unquote, is so bad. She started like, oh, you can't go and fight because it would be too dangerous. And then she's like, JK, lol. And then pulled what's called a hobo maneuver. Guys, it's impossible to do a holdo maneuver, and she's literally the only one to do it. And then, literally in the next episode, everyone's like, "Oh, that's how you do it." Like, oh my god!
Okay,
Not
okay.
only did that give her ending of her character arc, it just made it completely useless. She like literally episode 8 could not like if you just removed Holdo, nothing would change.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
No, I'm gonna say that scene was good. The whole like
What?
You
No.
kidding?
I liked it.
No. No. No.
Hold
No.
up, hold up.
Visually, it
In
was
a
good.
Okay.
Visually,
Wait.
it
Wait.
was
Wait.
good.
Wait. 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 Not yet. It's not yet the
Okay,
time
okay.
for that.
okay, all right, all right,
It's
all
not
right,
yet the time for that.
all right.
All right.
All right,
Let's
all right.
let's switch the flip and let's talk best Star Wars character. Now, to make it
Ooh.
more fun, we'll have two. One from canon and one from Legends.
Oh, thank God,
Oh,
Legends.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
God people
I love you.
acknowledge it exists.
No homo.
With Homo.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, wait. Question.
Answer.
Can we have? Oh my God. Can we have like a canon character, but our decision is kind of based on part of the Legends, continuity?
That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. All
Go
right.
ahead.
Oh, I start.
Yeah.
Okay, for canon, I guess it would be Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Yeah, Obi-Wan, I really liked his character arc, and I really liked how he progressed from a sort of young and brash character to someone who learned how to become a master, and someone who learned from his mistake after Anakin, to
Mhm.
someone who redeemed himself with Luke. I really like that. And he's like, Ewan McGregor's portrayal is just
Beautiful.
godlike.
Yes.
And
Jesus.
then I guess the one from Legends. I'm not sure if this is technically Legends, but Galen Marek, Starkiller.
That's my boy. That's my
Yeah,
boy.
boy.
That's my boy.
I see you. I see you, sir.
I
I
see
see you.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Sandro?
For me, canon would probably have to be um Anakin.
Anakin. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just really interested in the sense like his character arc was just I found it really really complicated and really really interesting to look into
Yeah.
because if you think like watching like the fourth episode 4 to 6, like you could really see like, oh, this is why he's starting to do all these things as Darth Vader. Then when you go to 1 to 3, you start to realize, oh, it's because he had all these pressures as Anakin. So I just found it really interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
How about a Legends character? Or you don't really have anybody from Legends?
Oh yeah, I don't really have anybody from Legends, so I was actually just gonna mention somebody else from canon.
All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go.
Um, I guess yeah, for canon, I would think Yoda. Yoda's pretty cool for
Mm.
me because he was really able to stabilize Luke Skywalker in my opinion, and like he's actually really integral to the story in the sense that he helped Luke realize who Darth Vader really was and like what was the best way to defeat Darth Vader.
Yeah. Okay. I
How about you,
respect
Riff?
that.
Okay, I would love to add to what the both just said, but I don't want to overextend my time.
Go for it. Go for it.
So I'll just go and say like my best for me, best Star Wars character is honestly Obi-Wan. Like I love
Yeah.
Obi-Wan for canon because it's interesting to see the growth from brash like his brash Qui-Gon Jinn like initial personality to someone who's so wise and at the same time still retains that amount of sarcasm. Like I was rewatching the
Yeah.
prequels today, right? And I just ended up like looking at all of his one-liners in the third episode. And then I was just like, wow,
Hello there.
he's really he's really good at this. And yeah, Ewan McGregor's portrayal of it was really nice. For Legends, I'm not sure if you guys know this character. Revan?
Yeah, Revan. Yeah, we know
Revan.
Revan.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
Bro,
of
love
course.
bro, you're
I
with the
love
right people.
oh my
Of
god, I'm so
course.
happy. I love Revan because it's really interesting how his fall, how he was initially a light-sided knight, right?
Yeah.
Then he fell
Yeah.
to the dark side and found his way back up. But then he eventually became a great Jedi,
Yep.
somebody who was in the balance of the Force,
Yep.
and it really makes you think like what his character is. It's like, is it for me a statement of what really is the Force really just black and white? Is it really just dark side, light side, or is there really a gray area where things are more morally questionable, or
Yeah.
it gives you something to think about. Like I love Revan's character for doing that. Uh, Pep, how about you? What's your best Star Wars character?
Okay. Uh, it's time for some hot takes with your host. All right.
Ooh.
Um, First and foremost, like honestly, it's pretty difficult to pick a favorite. Like yeah, it's pretty hard to pick who would be my best or favorite character from Star Wars. But honestly speaking, I would say Ahsoka Tano.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Like
okay. I like
she
that.
has one of the best character developments ever, ever. Like watching her from season 1 all the way up to season 7, ouch my heart. it's
Mm,
it's beautiful and painful to watch. Yeah. And for Legends, I would say my like honestly I really did love Starkiller, but my honest answer would be Satele Shan.
Oh,
Bro,
yo,
Satele
oh, okay.
Shan
yo.
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
super fucking crazy with her force abilities. Like she blocked a lightsaber with her hand. It's pretty whack. It's pretty whack.
May I interrupt
Go for it.
and say that this kind of concerns the podcast. Um, it's out. Pep.
What do you mean?
It's out. The last
Oh yeah, I know. I know. I'm well aware.
no, like there's one right now. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, go back.
Hmm?
Okay.
Okay, so
Junie?
I guess yeah, it's me. Um, there, yeah. Shrimp already mentioned Starkiller, so like I'm gonna just say two canon characters. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go like super full normie and like just say fucking Luke Skywalker, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like who doesn't love that guy? Cause
Of
like I
course.
don't know, for me like yeah, he was my first like true protagonist throughout the movies, and like honestly, this guy, farm boy turned Jedi master, like that whole story was amazing to watch. That's why it broke my heart to see him fall so bad in episode 8.
Oof.
You know what I felt, man.
Ouch.
Like,
Okay.
like he's supposed. Okay, people would argue that yeah, he was kind of a confused like person, but like at the same time, I thought that in between movies he'd be like this guy, this sage of wisdom or whatever. But then he turns into temptation again. I'm like, what? Like that for me, that's like so out of left field. Because this is the guy who was like who didn't choose to kill his dad, a mass murderer,
Yeah.
instead seeing the good in him. And he couldn't see the good in his nephew, right? That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So for me, like Luke is like the paragon, the staple of Star Wars. And then my other character is of course Han Solo, because it's Han Solo,
Yeah.
Mr. Bounty, the guy, this guy, this great guy. That's why I stand by that Solo is an movie, not a
Wait,
bad
sorry.
It's a bad movie.
Can I clarify which solo are you referring to? The canon or the Legends one?
can.
Canon.
No,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I haven't really delved into the non-canon
Legends.
Han
Hot
Okay.
Solo.
take, hot take.
Like,
Okay. Okay.
because honestly, like the roguish archetype of characters have always resonated with me as well. So like seeing him and Luke like bond together over the movies are like one of my like favorite relationship character ever.
Yeah.
Even if they did fight over Luke's sister, but like let's not talk about that. But yeah, Han Solo, as a kid, I was like super like torn apart. Either like dressing up as Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. Because Han Solo, who doesn't want to dress up as that guy?
Me.
Blaster on the hip, just walking around like that. Or Luke Skywalker with his badass lightsaber. Like sometimes when I was a kid, I'd think like, yo, I want Han Solo to have a lightsaber. But of course, it's kind of stupid. So yeah, those two are like my favorite characters.
Okay. All right. So since you just mentioned lightsaber, we're gonna dive into that territory. Let's
Ooh.
Okay, for all the people listening that aren't hardcore Star Wars fans, we're gonna be talking about the Graphics. The Graphics is the original prop for the Star Wars lightsabers, which was Luke Skywalker's lightsaber and Darth Vader's lightsaber, which were essentially like a flash gun that they modified. So, within each movie, it had its own iteration. So, let's talk favorite version of the Graphics. Who wants to start?
Hmm.
Mm, I guess it would have to be me, because I kind of did some research about the Graphics
Okay.
for like from what I remember, the Graphics was originally a flash, right? It was a
Yeah.
flash used for like a 70s camera.
Yep.
And for me, my favorite would have to be the one that was used in um
Journey?
Ginny.
My
Oh,
bad.
No,
Light
don't
went
do
out.
that. No,
okay,
don't do that.
okay,
Don't.
okay,
Oh, the light went out. It's not my fault.
okay.
Kurt's comments.
As I was saying, I think my favorite version would have to be the one that was the first prop ever made, like in episode 4. Yeah, because it really showed like the ingenuity that these guys had with with a film that they thought would never really get success. Like you could still see the Phillips screwdriver heads. You could see everything that was really just used to assemble it together.
Yeah.
And in the end, they made it become such an iconic thing,
Mm-hmm.
like a symbol for the movies.
Okay. Uh,
How about you, Pep? What do
me?
you think?
Okay. Honestly, my favorite design would have to be the skinny flex or Anakin's lightsaber from episode 3. I think that has to be my favorite version of the Graflex because of how sleek it was. The gold plate for the sides and then the gold accents with the red buttons. Like it just screamed, "This is a lightsaber," you know. So yeah, that's my favorite version. Sandro, how are you doing? You still with us?
I'm here. What's up, brother?
How about you?
What's your favorite version of the Graflex?
Um, I actually really like the Anakin lightsaber in 3 also, like Pep. I found it really cool.
That's right.
And especially like when they made the toy for it, like the very first toy, the one that's like plastic.
The one that can change from like red to blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, dude, this is so awesome. Like I feel like a freaking Jedi right now holding this.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Jaime.
It would probably be the OG because it was my introduction to the Graphics.
So episode 4.
Yes, episode 4, New Hopes. I
Okay.
really like the design because again, I started with what you call this Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
So it at least back in the PSP, they were the lightsaber designs were pretty similar at least when I was younger. So when I saw the graphics for the first time, I'm like, wow, how the fuck can somebody hold on to that?
Oh
And
yeah.
I saw how Luke Skywalker like used it like even without much prior training, and I'm like, wow, looked really nice. So
Okay.
yeah.
I might have to agree with Strip over there. It's the original talaga for me. Because like, long before I ever got into the green lightsaber, I was a really big fan of the blue one. Of course, because it's the new hope. The fuck up, Pep. I see it. So
Yeah.
like that version
Yeah.
talaga for me like stands out as the. But like while I was in Galaxy's Edge, I chose to get the green one because everybody has a blue lightsaber. Wanted to be the
Okay. Um before we go to the next topic, fun fact. The reason why they gave Luke a green lightsaber is because blue did not look good in where they were filming. That's it. That is the
thank you
only
to
reason.
thank you
All
for
right, I
ruining my
don't care.
immersion.
I don't care. It
I
looks
love
good,
I love fun facts without context.
and I've
Man,
sunk
dreams
in
just
a lot of
shattered
money
right
for this.
there.
But yeah, that's the actual truth. Like, the blue looked so bad, like with the sand and all of that. They were like, how do we make contrast with this green? Okay, and that's that. Which moves on to overall best lightsaber hilt design. Like, if you could own someone's lightsaber, whether it be canon or legends, which one would you want to have in your possession? Junie.
I mean, as a kid, I've always loved this lightsaber. Of course. I mean, what, what do you want from me? Like, dude, this is the lightsaber that I saw pop out of R2D2 while Luke was about to like jump off the thing, and he does the backflip, gets the lightsaber, opens it, you
Okay.
know.
All
Like
right.
that whole moment was like the most memorable for me watching it. Aside from the whole like I am a Jedi like my father before me. So of course I gravitate towards this lightsaber.
All right. Fair,
So yeah.
fair. Uh, Sandra, how about you?
Favorite lightsaber?
Yeah.
Hilt.
Yep.
The design that I really really like is Darth Maul's saber in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
The one that's like two sided.
The OG.
The
Yeah, with like the
OG.
Mm,
like it's connected in the center, and
yeah.
then you could flip it and all that. Yeah, I used to like really 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 like that saber so much, and I was trying to look for it for such a long time.
Oh,
It's
don't worry.
expensive.
One day you'll have one. One day you'll have one. Rift, how about you?
Yes. Oh, it's kind of a hard question to answer because don't don't judge me for this.
All right.
I
Yeah.
like the cross guard lightsabers.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
That's,
Like
yeah.
they're really cool.
And
I
functional.
yeah, like
Very functional.
it worked. So yeah, I like the cross guard lightsabers. But if I were to really like say best Mace Windu's lightsaber design,
Hmm.
it looked sleek, elegant, and it was just so nice to look at. And plus, it had the color purple. I love the color purple.
Okay. 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 I dig that.
I dig that a lot. How about you, Shrimp?
It would have to be Palpatine's from Episode 3, and not because of
Oh.
how it looks. No, cause not because of how it looks. It's the symbolism behind it. I really, really
Ah.
liked it.
Okay. All right.
Cause okay, it obviously it looks really sleek and it looks so good, but the reason why it looks like that is because he wanted to flex on the Jedi. All the gold, because like
Yeah.
when Jedi's like ascend to the rank of master, or when they reach a high enough rank, they're given a specific metal which they can put into their blades, which I don't know, like enhance the kyber crystal's connectivity with the lightsaber.
Yeah.
But it's like a super symbolic thing, and it really shows how dedicated you are to the light side of the Force. And Palpatine was like, "Oh, I want me some of that," and he just put it all over his lightsaber. So it was really, it was really like the front
Ooh,
Jedi's.
that's such
Ooh,
a
Yeah, so
bitch
he was
slap
just.
to the
Here's the thing.
face.
Yeah, it is literally a bitch slap to the face. He was flexing on them as he was cutting them down. And I find that so funny, and it's why it's gonna be my favorite of all time.
Okay. All right. Um, let's see. Okay. Out of all the lightsabers, the first one that really like made me turn my head was Starkiller's lightsaber. Cause
Yeah.
like first and foremost, that top half is a Graflex, right? Without the stupid T rubber grips that they put on the original one. Second, it had an open chamber where you could see the kyber crystal. That was pretty fucking sick. Also, the sound of the lightsaber is so menacing. I love it. I love that. Ah,
yeah. That's why I like the green, the Luke Skywalker lightsaber too, because apparently it's different then compared to others
in terms of?
in terms of the sound itself.
Oh yeah, no, all lightsabers have a unique sound.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Fun fact.
Thanks.
Like um, if I remember correctly, they made sure that the Jedi and Sith lightsabers sounded differently when they opened.
Yeah. But um so the way it worked was for the Sith side of lightsabers, it was a lot more base heavy and a lot more rough in the ignition and the hum and all that. And then on the light side of the lightsabers, it tended towards a more cleaner sound, no distortion, like it was calm. Even when it was swung around, it sounded peaceful and elegant. Yep. Okay, while we're still on lightsabers, let's talk color. Let's talk
Uh,
color. Like
Junie's thinking to himself, "Oh, I've already green, 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 green so many times."
all right.
No,
like
man,
if
I'm fucking colorblind, yo.
Oh my god. Okay, that's gonna be a funny take. All right. I'll start it off. Um. Okay. Honest to God, like as mu- like I have a love hate relationship with this, cause as much as I love the episode for Graflex, it was so uncomfortable to hold. It was so painful to hold and spin around and play with. But I loved the sky blue that they used. Like
mm,
that is my favorite lightsaber color. Yeah.
How about you, Sandro?
Okay, this is a little bit of a shallow reason, but I mean, when you sign up Samuel L. Jackson for a movie and you give him the freaking most unique color for a lightsaber, that's gotta be really, really badass.
Wait, do you know why he got a purple lightsaber?
I mean, I kind of forgot, but like, I just find it really, really cool.
Do you mind if I
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
okay, I'll keep this as brief as possible. Alright, so the backstory to why he got a purple lightsaber is because the first time he ever pulls it out is in episode 2 in the Geonosian, fight, right? And there's like hundreds of Jedis. So he goes up to George Lucas and he goes, "Look, I'm gonna have my family, watch the movie. So how am I going to point out to my kids that's me if everyone's using blue and green? They can't see that. So I want a unique color." So he goes, "Okay, what do you want?" He goes, "I want purple." And then they're like, "Okay, we'll give you a purple lightsaber." And that's just how it became. That's just it. Ah.
And that's pretty badass. Like, I
it's
might just
pretty
say, yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
sorry. One
no,
last thing. Speaking of that, he actually has that engraved on his lightsaber. Like BAMF, like badass motherfucker. It's on the hilt.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Damn.
All right, Riff.
How about you?
Oh,
He's not sure
I
anymore.
okay. As much as I love the color purple,
Yeah.
I'd have to say a white lightsaber crystal is the best color for me. My favorite color rather for a lightsaber
Pure white.
because it's pure. Because if you don't know the lore behind it, the kyber crystals you interact with the force, and
Yep.
that's why it gives you that color.
Yeah.
And at its purest form, it's just white energy, and I feel like that shows like true balance
Mm.
because it's not a red color, it's not a green color either. It's just white, and it's balance for me. It's a symbolic color in a sense.
Hmm. All right. How about you, Shrimp?
I'm gonna have to agree with Rift, honestly, and for the exact same reason. But I really like he was talking about lore, and I really like the lore behind the red
Mm,
lightsaber crystals because they're like synthetic. Because right, you know how Ilum usually has the kyber crystals, and usually you pick out the crystal when you become a like when you start your journey as a Padawan and you make your own lightsaber and whatnot. But the way that the red crystals work is that they harness the force, like the Sith harness the the force with with so much rage and so much passion that it like the force makes its own synthetic kyber crystal, which is why, and I think Junie mentioned this earlier. That's why the when Sith unsheath or when they turn on their lightsabers, it has a harsher noise.
Yeah, that
It's
was better.
because it's a synthetic crystal. Yeah, I find that really nice. But I'm gonna have to agree with Rift on the white, and exactly for the same reason.
Okay.
All right. So for me, it's an interesting story because my family and I went to Galaxy's Edge,
Yeah.
and before the trip, I was like, "Hey, Dad, can I get a lightsaber? Like, do the whole like create your own lightsaber experience." And my dad was like, "We'll find out when we get there." So tried to convince my mom. Of course, mom said no. So on the way there, I was like, "What lightsaber color would I want to get?" So it came down to two, and it was honestly, of course, the number one thing I have right now was this. It's the green one because it's green.
Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, of course. Or it actually might also be red. Like I really like just the menacing vibe you see every time it's on screen. Like of course we all know the Rogue One scene
Yeah.
where it's just pitch
Darth
black
Vader.
and then
Yeah. Yeah.
like, oh, I can never forget that scene. That scene was super chills. Like the whole cinema was quiet, and then boom. So red lightsaber for me is always like gonna be one of the best.
Okay. All right. Time to bring us back into the loop. It's time for some hot takes. Worst Star Wars movie.
Number
Here we
eight.
go, baby.
Sorry.
I already know what you're gonna say, Pep. So just say it now.
Huh? What do you mean?
I already know what you're gonna say. So just say it now. Say
No,
it
I'm
now.
not gonna say anything. All right. Sandro, start us off.
Episode 8, hands down.
Yeah. Agreed.
And
Okay.
actually, it's mainly because, like what I said about Finn, they kind of completely wasted Leia's character. They didn't give her the proper send off. Granted, Carrie Fisher died,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, this whole thing that they like that scene where the ship has like blows up and then she goes into space and
Hold
then
on,
all of a
maneuver.
sudden
Vroom,
she
vroom,
reaches
vroom.
out her hand and like she's pulling herself back into the ship. Like, what
Oh.
exactly does that mean? I thought she was just the freaking general of this rebellion.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Jaime.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. It's episode 8.
Oh, a second?
Yeah, because like honestly, it's the characters and the story. Like, you guys know the backstory behind episode 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So honestly, that's just like fucked it up, man. Like, are we allowed to swear? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it
Go for it.
fucked it up. Can I just say? Okay, so the characters that were introduced were so bland and really, it's like bleh. The story was so like honestly, like the character arcs were like, guys, I'm literally lost for words trying to describe just how much I dislike this movie. I am tongue twisted. Like,
Mhm.
goodness me. Luke, for God's sake, Luke, they turned him into a grumpy old man. He's supposed to be a sage. He's supposed to be the forefather of the new generation of the Jedi, and he's just sucking milk, doing nothing. What pissed me off the most? The Graflex scene.
Oh wait.
Here,
Oh.
take this. And he just yeets it.
Yeet.
And I'm just I almost got kicked out of the theater when I saw it. I was like, fuck! You know? My god, that was a funny story. Like, I was almost kicked out 3 times. First from that. Second, when fucking Rose kissed Finn.
Hmm.
Wait, yeah. And then the third one was the Kylo versus Luke.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, okay, he's finally gonna do it. And then he gets stabbed. He's like, hey, I'm not really here, motherfucker. I'm just gonna peace out. And really, I was like, wow. You have decades of story with this man, and you're just gonna just yeet him off for Ray, man. I'm just like, God. Anyway, that ends my little tirade before I go on for too long.
All love. All love.
I'm gonna piggyback off that because my personal worst movie was actually also 8.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So so yeah, I gotta agree with them, especially what Shrimp or Jaime said, because like, dude, they butchered Luke's character. He's found dead in a ditch. Like, oh my god, like the whole thing with him throwing the lightsaber. Like, oh my god, why did you do that? Especially it's more amplified with Rise of Skywalker
Yeah.
when Rey throws the lightsaber in and he's like he grabs it and he says a line about like, oh, you have to take care of this or something, right? Or that's not how you're supposed to do that, you know? So like it's a whole, I guess it's the whole writing standpoint of the movie, which for me really sucks like
Ryan Johnson.
because because like this guy who has been through so many things has got this lightsaber too, but like like everything he's came across in his life, and he suddenly just flip flops like that, like a loser,
Yeah.
and almost kills his nephew because he might be evil.
Ooh.
So it's like, ooh, So like the whole, yeah, they butchered Luke's character. Like I don't agree as with Riff on how like Ray is like a bad character. She could have been salvaged in some other way if they follow the whole like she's not a Skywalker or anything, or she's a nobody, but she's a Jedi. That would have been an interesting tale to follow. But yeah, this whole movie was not good.
Rift.
I kind of want to counterpoint to what Judy
Okay.
said, but I know I shouldn't. So I
No.
will. I will. I will.
No, no,
I
no,
will.
no, no. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Like,
Smack
go.
it on,
No,
boy.
no. I also agree with what you said regarding how they could have salvaged something from it, but I still think Ray for me was like one of the worst characters because of the way she was written and how it was already shown in the film itself. Like
Yeah.
we can't do anything about it anymore, unfortunately. As much as you can salvage from it, and that brings me to my worst Star Wars movie. Okay, you think
Is it episode 8 though?
It's
it's
not
not
episode
eight?
8. It's not
It's
episode
not
8.
It's not
eight.
episode
It's
eight.
Aw.
nine. I hated nine.
I'm Ray.
Called
Ray
Ah.
Skywalker.
I hated nine. I hated nine so much.
See,
Like
buti ka
okay,
pa eh.
on the first watch, I found myself crying because I was like, oh my
Wait, you
god.
watched it more than once? I
No,
feel
the
so
first
sad.
watch, I watched it the second time to make sure that what I was feeling was just nostalgia.
Yeah.
So my first watch, I was crying because I was like so happy and shit. But then the second watch, I was like, wait, everything's so wrong with this movie. And because I don't want to overextend, I'll just say the following points. They rushed the story.
Yes.
There's no character development
Uh
whatsoever.
huh.
The entire timeline doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And overall, they just decreased one of the main characters, what's his name? Finn?
Yeah.
To someone who just screams, Ray! 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 The entire movie. Like, holy shit.
um.
It's
Yeah.
so bad. But yeah, that's my take. I don't like the ninth episode. The eighth was bad, but
Yeah.
my god, the ninth just made it worse.
Okay. Can you imagine though, like while they're filming the movie, and like if imagine if he actually did forget his line, and he has to go line, and they go Ray, Ray, Ray.
You only have one line, John. All right, Ray. The entire movie is just him doing that. Uh, oh, but
Okay.
anyway, how about you? What's your worst Star
Here's the
Wars
thing,
movie?
though. I actually agree with you. I really
Oh,
think Episode 9 is the worst fucking thing ever. Now, to add on to what you said, um, they also wasted a lot of characters like death. You know, like Chewbacca died supposedly. Oh, he was
oh,
in the other ship. He's fine.
oh my
He's
god.
fine. Oh, C3PO, he's gonna lose all his memory. Oh, guess what? R2D2 got that shit covered. Oh, no sweat whatsoever. Like all the things were like, oh shit, this is the final episode. Like people are dying. Characters are, disappearing. Like the characters we grew up with from the original trilogy. And then all of a sudden their sacrifices are for nothing. Like it loses that factor of consequence,
Mm,
you know? And
yeah, yeah.
then, like, adding on to what Junie mentioned a while ago, like, if they did keep Ray as an actual nobody, then that would have been fine. But I really hated that she was all of a sudden related to Palpatine. Like, bruh.
Oh,
Like,
I think
first
it
and
was really
foremost,
because
who the hell would shag with that dude? Who would?
Isn't it like supposed to be like a Palpatine clone that ended up banging
that
someone?
ended up female?
No, no, no. Like no, no, no,
no,
no, no, no,
no,
no, no, no,
science,
no, 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 no,
buddy.
no, 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 no. No,
Wait.
like
Thank
some
you for putting
Palpatine.
that image into our minds, man. I was able to sleep tonight.
Yes.
I
Gender
Like
hope you're
bender
happy with what you've
Palpatine.
done.
no, like
Unlimited power. Sorry. Keep going.
yeah, like it was supposed to be like a clone or something that ended up not being well, like or something, and then ended up going off and then going to marry someone, then produce Ray. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, I mean,
But
to
yeah,
be fair, they didn't really explain that properly either.
yeah, true.
Surprise,
Can I
surprise.
actually just add a bit to what Pep said, if
Yeah,
it's okay with you guys?
go for it.
I did not like how they brought back so much lore only to waste it in
Yeah.
one go. Like the Sith Eternal troopers,
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes.
like dude, they were just there for one scene and that's it. They're all gone in just one go. As in, you can imagine the possibility of more canon or extended canon if
Yeah.
they had left those alive. They introduced Sith Eternal, Sith cultists, Sith everything, and then it was just wiped out the window.
Yep.
Like it's just wasted opportunity.
I agree. Okay. Uh. Okay. Let's talk video games for a moment.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
What is your favorite Star Wars video game?
Force Unleashed. Just like quietly sneaking around from the corner. Force Unleashed. No, but yeah, yeah. Again, I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Goodness. I grew up with the Force Unleashed.
Yeah, it's a good
That
game.
was really my, yeah, it was my introduction to the Star Wars series. I play it again every so often on PC
Wait,
just to remember the nostalgia. There's a port on Steam.
question though.
It's not a good one.
Yeah, okay, that
it's,
answers my question.
it's not a good one. Like the controls are all off, and honestly, you'd better do it like if you were to play it again on the PST or Xbox.
Yeah,
But I just do it for nostalgia purposes. It really introduced me to like video games in general as well. It was a good game. It had a good storyline. The force powers really made you feel powerful. Like you
yeah.
gradually became stronger. The character of Starkiller, Juno, Proxy, they were great.
Mhm.
General Kota, he should
General
be in
Kota.
canon.
Oh boy,
Fucking
Love that
oh boy.
game.
yeah. And then like goodness, like just even the art direction, you really felt immersed in the Star Wars universe. Like
Yeah,
you didn't feel like you were playing Galen Marek. Like you felt like you were in the universe doing what Galen Marek was doing.
yeah.
And that immersion really made me fall in love with the Star Wars universe, and is one of the key points in why I think it's one of the best Star Wars video games.
All right,
How about you, Sandro? What
that
do you
was
think is your
beautiful.
favorite?
I mean, I just gotta go back to like the video game that like brought me into it and made me find those videotapes. Revenge of the Sith, man. The PS2 version was just
Yeah,
I don't know. Up to today, like if you ask me about like my top video games, it's definitely up there because it was such a classic for its time. To be honest.
yeah. I agree. Okay.
How about you, Rick?
I know how I said earlier I like Jedi Knight Outcast, but
Yeah.
for me my most favorite Star Wars game of all time is Republic Commando. Like
Oh, yeah.
I love the way that it really made you feel like you're a clone trooper, a clone commando, and it really put you to the eyes that Star Wars isn't all Jedi Knights and
Yeah.
glorious battle. It's really the nitty gritty shit. Like, it's such an interesting game to immerse yourself into because it really shows you, it gives you another perspective.
Yeah.
And I was so sad when I realized that it never had a sequel, and there was, and it became
Mm,
Legends. But I was so happy when it got introduced back into canon. Well, rather the concept of clone commandos got introduced to canon.
yeah.
So yeah, I love it.
Okay.
How about you, Junie?
I guess okay.
Hot take.
Again,
Hot take.
not really a hot take,
Hot
but
take.
like this is gonna come out of left field for most of y'all. But like the very first Star Wars game I actually played was Lego Star Wars on the PSP, yo.
Okay, no, that one's a classic.
Yo,
You know,
That
I'm
one's a
not gonna
classic, though.
judge. I'm not gonna
what do you
judge.
mean? Yo, that's like a way for me to view all the movies in like an hour time span. Okay, some people can't binge watch the movies daily, so I just play the fucking game. So of
Wait,
course,
sorry, I just gotta ask. This is the one with like when you get hit, you like lose a heart there on the side,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
one.
That's the one. That's the one.
Dude, the moment when I first got my hands on the complete saga edition of Lego Star Wars,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm gonna put young Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker on the same team because they do well right together. You know? Like I'd pull in these characters like, oh, I'll put young Anakin with Princess Leia. Oh, they'll get along together. So like as a kid, that's like a way for me to like sandbox and playground a lot
Yeah.
about the whole games and stuff. So that's why I really love the game.
Okay. Pep, how about you?
All right. So hot takes, huh? Are you ready?
Go for
Honestly
it.
speaking, I think it's Jedi Fallen Order.
Wow. Okay.
Huh.
That's
I played
cool.
it. It was good.
It's
Okay,
really nice game.
like here's the thing. Like yes, I'll admit the ending wasn't as amazing as a lot of people wanted it to be. Like but at the same time I understand why they decided to do all of that, right? Um but as I was progressing like throughout the story, I don't want to give spoilers, but then I'd assume everyone by now has played the game. So
Yeah.
like as you go through like the different planets and like you discover like all those memories of the past and all that, like I think my favorite planet would have to be Zepho, especially because of like entering the big ass star destroyers and like you see all the dead clones with their arc trooper ships and all of that buried underneath or broken. I'm just like it really puts you in the shoes of Order 66 just happened and this is reality now. You know? Like it really stomps that gravity of the situation. So, yeah. I'm
Yeah, I agree.
surprised that everyone actually was okay with that because more often than not, people would like go batshit crazy.
No, because
It's
like I was able to play Jedi Fallen Order because yeah, the same trip I went to Galaxy's Edge.
Mm.
I had to look for a Christmas gift for my cousin, and he's also like a big Star Wars fan. So I was like, "Yo, wait, you don't have Jedi Fallen Order yet?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't have it yet." So we went to like a Best Buy and like looked for it in five different Best Buys just for one copy of Jedi Fallen Order, and he didn't know the whole time I was getting it for him. So
Yeah.
like the moment where I gave the guy was like, oh my god, yo, thanks. So we got to play it, and dude, the gameplay was actually really nice, and I
Yeah.
like the lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsaber was good.
Yeah.
mind if I add to what Pep said?
Go
Sure.
ahead.
That's what I really loved about Fallen Order was how you were able to experience things by just exploring.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to continue the main storyline. You just explored the map and you could understand different types of lore.
Yup.
Like what you said about the Republic, the crashed Venator, right?
Yeah.
I love that level so much. Like I always go back to it,
Same. I
and
still do. I actually did like
it's
a few days ago.
it's really interesting to just explore and just wonder what happened here. Like, what's the story behind all of this?
Yeah.
I love the game, even though people say it's mediocre.
Mhm. I mean, like, I
Mhm.
get why though, because
Ah,
Star
yeah,
Wars is like a very, big thing, and
yeah.
everyone has like their own expectations of what it should be and how it should be. But I think overall they did a really good job with that game.
Hmm. Agreed.
Okay, it's time for our last topic. Let's hear some opinions about Disney and Star Wars. Hot takes?
Whew.
Hot take, hot take, hot take.
Whew.
Okay. Get it. Get it. This is
Basically complete trash, in my opinion. This is a real hot take. Okay, so first of all, I understand that Disney
sorry.
like obviously needs to market Star Wars for a new generation, right?
Yeah,
I just think that the way that they did it was horrendous. Although I must say that there, of course, there is some that's good stuff that's canon. What you said, Jedi Fallen Order, amazing game.
yeah,
Mandalorian, amazing story.
yep,
The comics, they're doing well. It's just that their mainline series, which was the new trilogy, was complete and utter trash.
yep.
That was that was sorry. That's like my complete hot take.
All right.
I would like rant further, but I don't think we have the time.
No, well, okay. Let's have everyone else speak and then go back to you.
All right, that's fine with you guys.
Okay. May I speak next?
Sure.
I actually agree. I dislike Disney's direction with the main storyline. Like you have people who are in the sidelines, like they're doing the actual lore extensions really well, like that new canon well, like Mandalorian, the Clone Wars. They're doing it so well. Dave Filoni, bless his heart,
Yeah.
bless his mind. Like he's doing it so well to the point where he takes in consideration the old lore and tries to make it work in the new canon. But what Disney has done to Star Wars in general is an utter disregard to what most of the legends has already established. Like they had to ruin a lot of Star Wars upcoming video games,
Yep.
and they also ruined the
Burger
storyline, the
King.
main storyline of the movies. So yeah, it's annoying that they kind of made Star Wars a cash grab instead of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Sandro, how about you?
Sure. So I'll actually just kind of bounce off what Riff said about the cash grab. I think Disney was thinking more on the business perspective than the actual creative side of Star Wars and
Yeah.
what it can bring.
Yep.
Like I think that they just took it into their own business and said, oh, we can make money off this anyway because for sure there are people that are going to watch. It has a fan base already, all that stuff. So they didn't really care about the story. And speaking about the story, just really quickly before I go over time, um, like for example, in 9 they resurrect Palpatine. Like I found that completely useless. And what we've been basically talking about for the past few minutes here is like there were a lot of wasted characters in the trilogy, and just like again what Riff said, I mean, the Mandalorian is doing a really really good job. I personally like I found it like such a breath of fresh air after seeing the new trilogy. So I mean, if it could be done on the sides, why is the main trilogy just like what Shrimp said? It's like utter trash, man. It's kind
Yeah.
of really annoying.
I'd have to agree with the three people who talked previously
I think
because, oh,
everyone's on the same page
yeah,
here.
I mean, yeah, because honestly, like, okay, to be honest, I really enjoyed Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Like that whole part was seeing the Falcon for the first time in like scale replica of it. I kind of teared up because of course it's the Falcon. It's
Yeah.
our childhood,
Yeah.
which brings me to my point. They kind of it was looking around and seeing all like while I was walking around Galaxy's Edge, like I saw everyone carrying like merchandise, like various random stuff. You know, like a lot of things that you can buy in like the stores,
Yeah.
which kind of made me reflect on like how Disney, yeah, really put importance on the business.
Yep.
Like, yeah, the experience is great, but like this lightsaber was like over $100, and that was like whoa, for me. So like the whole Disney thing, in my opinion, is kind of yeah, again trash, because mainly it kind of highlighted like how everything everything about the business was put first rather than the story and the and the tales and what Star Wars actually means to me.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like it.
Okay. All right. Before I say my piece, I just have to comment on one thing you mentioned regarding the price of the lightsabers. Like, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but
Yeah,
first things first, those lightsabers are trash. It uses AAA batteries. That's pretty trash. Um, Second, the speakers are pretty weak as fuck. And next would be that the string LED that they use isn't that great either. Uh, Surprise, surprise. Next, fun fact, like the price of that lightsaber, right, is the same price as this, and it has an in-hilt LED with a proper Lion battery, like the ones they use for vapes and shit, and I can fight with this. So, who's the winner here? Hmm?
exactly.
Hmm? Hmm?
So
Hmm?
I don't know.
Okay,
So if yeah,
yeah, that's all I wanted to mention. All right, regarding the whole Disney thing though, the one thing that really, really, really pissed me off the most is what they did with that entire trilogy. Because George Lucas had a vision. He had a plan in mind for the entire story and how each movie would play its part to tell that story, you know? And then we have this new trilogy that comes out, and they're like, oh, we're gonna have three different directors for each film. Why? Why would you do that? Like, I mean, I don't need to mention it further because we already saw what happened with 7 and 8. Shocker. So, they really just tossed it down the drain. Like, they really wasted what they could have done with this new trilogy. And I wish I could, like, go back in time and tell myself to save my money and just buy a nicer lightsaber. Uh, yeah. Alright. I've said my piece. Does anyone else want to add anything more?
Yeah, sorry, can I just add really quickly?
Go for it.
Um, I think we can kind of all agree that there's a certain beauty in Star Wars, like the history that's actually involved. Like with, for example, like Darth Vader, Dark Father, he was kind of like a symbolism for like Nazis or something. And you know how like they wanted to take over the entire world and all that. And now, like if we kind of notice, like with the modern age of cinema, like there's a lot of political correctness, and with Disney especially involved with Star Wars, like I feel like they felt like they had to do a lot of like restricting or censoring to some degree because
Mm,
of the audience that they were trying to appeal to. So yeah, that's my point.
Okay.
Can I actually add to that too?
Discussion.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Um,
No, don't be.
because when I was watching Solo, I noticed that the character of L3 was quite literally the it was like a representation of all the we should start a revolution, and I was just thinking, wow, I can't believe they actually went through with this route. And then if you go to episode 9, a lot of things there felt so unnecessarily included.
Yeah,
Like, I understand political correctness. I really do. But forcing it does not make it correct.
yeah.
Opinion.
Okay. Jaime, final thoughts?
Uh,
Oh, ha. Okay.
Sorry, my mic was off. Sorry, what were you saying?
Do you
any
have any
final
final
thought?
thoughts?
Honestly, anything I could say to bash the new trilogy at this point is just gonna sound redundant. You guys did an amazing job, and I love y'all for that.
Aw,
So no,
thank
I
you,
have
buddy.
nothing new to
Thank
add.
you.
All right. Junie, anything else?
Yeah, like Star Wars is a nice place. Disney kind of ruined it, so that's as simple as that.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I think we can conclude this episode. So, thank you. No?
Wait, we forgot one topic,
What?
and we should do this as a closer. What's our best Star Wars movie?
Did we forget that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you did.
forgot that. We went
Oh, we
straight
did.
Did
to
to
Oh,
the
Disney
Disney
wait. Why
movies.
did no
movies.
one stop me?
You made such a good transition. No
Yeah,
one
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
like
was
stop you,
like,
I
man.
didn't
yeah,
want
I
I
didn't
didn't
want to
want to
stop it.
I didn't want to stop you because that was like a really nice transition.
It was smooth, yeah.
It was a good.
Oh my god, I hate that I have it like right here in my fucking face. Like I literally have Discord right here on my second monitor. I'm just like favorite color check. First Star Wars movie check. Video games. Wait. I even made fucking coffee to make sure I would stay awake and like be attentive and I still fucked that one up. Okay.
Wait, as I remember correctly, Shrimp has to leave, right?
Yes. So
Yeah,
shrimp.
so I
So
guess I go
y-
first.
yeah, you just go first so that we can.
All right. Honestly, it would be episode 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I loved Luke's progression as a
Mhm.
character in that one.
Mhm.
I loved where they took Leia and Han's relationship. I really love how they expanded upon the universe. Lando was introduced, so that was definitely a plus. And of course, the amazing plot twist at the near the end. That
Mhm.
really was the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for like taking your time to join us and everything. I really
of
appreciate
course.
that.
Yeah, it was fun talking.
Thank you for inviting me. It was very fun, and I'm very glad to have had this discussion with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
All right. Are you signing off
All
now?
right. Yeah, I'm
All
signing
right.
off.
All right.
All right,
Take care, buddy.
take care.
You guys. Peace.
Peace,
Take
peace.
care. May the fourth be with all.
I'm
I just realized that was
I'm not editing that out. I'm not editing that out. All right.
no. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Who wants to
How
go
about you,
next?
Riff? What do
since
you
I
think is the
was the
best?
last one who spoke, okay, don't hate me on this, but I believe it would have to be Rogue One.
I call
Yeah,
it.
Junie, I can see you
I
reacting.
call
It's
it.
okay.
This
No, no, you were
connect?
talking.
Okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
kidding.
Hear
I'm
me out.
kidding.
Hear
I'm
me out.
kidding.
Hear
Okay,
me
go.
out. I love episode 5. I really do. But Rogue One for me really hits it for me.
Yeah.
Because the original movies, what they failed to do was to portray the Empire as a really frightening empire.
Yeah.
Because they're always missing their shots. in Rogue One, you can really feel the terror that they had on the entire people. You could really feel yourself being immersed in the war that the rebels felt so hopeless because, quite literally, they were outgunned. That scene in Yavin 4 where they're just discussing, like, what can we do? We should just surrender and abandon the Rebel Alliance completely. I felt like that's when I knew that they had really reached that point in their time that they were desperate enough to stop.
Yeah.
And this is me having watched like most, like I even watched Rebels. I watched how it formed, and
Yeah.
it just shows how desperate they've grown in the time that they've become a rebel alliance. So Rogue One for me is really one of the best Star Wars movies out there because it showed that Star Wars isn't all lightsabers and Jedi and Sith. Yay! All about the nitty gritty, who gets left behind, and what does it really do to the people, and what does it take to really start
Yeah.
a rebellion. So
Okay.
yeah, that's why I love it.
All right.
Also, that sorry, just one last point. I really loved the scene when the ships just started arriving at the shield gate. Like, yo, I almost cried right there. I was crying. Okay, sorry.
uh.
Junie, how about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot. Okay, not really hot take.
Is it a
Because
hot
like,
take?
no. Okay, so when the original trilogy or the complete quote unquote saga was still there,
Yeah.
before the whole sequel trilogy happened, the discussion was always down to 5 or 6
Yeah.
as the best Star Wars movie.
Sure.
And I've always been in the camp of 6 as the best for me personally.
Yeah.
Because for me, like that was the culmination of like everything.
Yeah.
Like while I'm not a big fan of downer movies, so Empire Strikes Back's ending for me was kind of sad. And as a guy that prefers happy endings, I'd go with 6
Yeah.
because of course, the victory theme, the whole party, and like the whole. It's the culmination of Luke's character. That's why I really love the movie in itself. Because of course you see him like do the flips, finally like becoming that full fledged like Jedi that we want him to be, and like the whole scene with him like throwing away his lightsaber because he saw his he saw his father.
Yeah.
Like the whole scene with him like seeing his hand in his father's hand and be like, oh shit, we're kind of the same, you know. So well, they're kind of the same with robot hand, but like the whole that whole line for me speaks volumes. Like I am a Jedi, like my father before me. That ties up the whole saga for me completely.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
so for me, Return of the Jedi is the quintessential Star Wars movie, mainly because it's the whole shebang. The
Okay.
whole you got the action from everyone, you know. Andor was great. That was fun. The whole
Yeah.
Han Solo finally like and getting together with Leia,
Mhm.
and like the whole scene, the scenes with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader right before the Emperor, like Luke trying to convince Darth Vader, oh come on, come with me, join the light side, we could beat this guy. Like the whole turmoil in between in Darth Vader, and finally culminating with him throwing Palpatine off the roof, where he should have fucking stayed dead. But like, but we all know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, that's the best Star Wars movie, at least for me.
All right. Sandro, you still with us?
I think he's gone.
I think he's AFK.
Is
Yeah,
he
he's AFK.
AFK?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how this is gonna look to everyone else, but since he's not here, and we're pretty much done with the podcast, I'm gonna yeet him out.
Yeah, I could just join back in.
Yeet. All right. So, um.
And there were only three.
Oh, speaking of three, haha. Guess what my favorite Star Wars movie is? Episode 3, Revenge of
Mm.
the Sith.
May I ask why?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
Why?
here's the here's the thing. Like honestly, when it just came out, I was like, it's enjoyable to watch, but like kind of confusing. So like during the time it came out, I still held um. Okay, you're probably gonna even hate me more for this, but it's a super really hot take. Honestly, I love the Phantom Menace just for Darth Maul alone. Like that final fight was enough for me to say that was my favorite just for that fight.
I don't
That's
blame.
pod racing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Okay, I don't blame you though.
Okay.
I love Darth Maul.
So yeah. The reason why I love episode 3 the most though, especially with Clone Wars ending, like the culmination of like Anakin and Obi-Wan, like the relationship from episode 2 to episode 3, like you really see how painful it was for both parties, you know, like for both Anakin and Obi-Wan. That final fight on Mustafar was like the heaviest fucking thing ever. So yeah, that's why I still think it's my favorite.
Mm.
Yeah.
Your point.
That's a very nice point.
Yeah.
As much as it was campy,
Yeah.
it was so campy. Okay, like the second episode was so campy. I couldn't take it. Oh,
Okay,
Sandra.
Sandra's back.
Oh wow,
Now that
Sandra's
Sorry
back.
about that,
Oh
guys.
wow,
now that
just in time before I was about to end the episode. So Sandro, what is your
favorite.
favorite
Favorite what? Sorry.
movie?
Star Wars film.
Like, what do
Oh,
you think is
favorite.
the best? Hmm?
You know, I think this is the best because it actually never left my memory up to this day. Episode 5.
Wow.
Wow.
Hot
Yeah.
take.
He has a different favorite Star Wars movie. I'm impressed.
So yeah, I just like episode 5. I mean, like, I remember sitting there and like looking through the whole plot. And there's actually one particular scene that can never leave my mind. You remember that scene where Luke is on, I forgot the name of the planet, but it's like the planet with like a lot of snow in it.
Yeah.
Hoth.
Hoth.
Yeah. There I can't really pinpoint exactly why I can't forget that scene, but I mean it's just my favorite because I can never forget it.
Because they killed a tauntaun and like skinned it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you call the OG 1C, bro. uh, okay. I guess.
Before we end the podcast, I
Yes.
actually have an additional question that I forgot to run through
Oh my god.
before we started this. But what do you think, out of all Star
All.
Wars media, including Legends,
Mm.
was the best lightsaber battle?
Lightsaber battle?
Yeah, fight.
Oh, that's
Fight.
hard.
Okay.
That is so hard.
Hold
'Cause-
up, hold up.
Okay,
God damn.
because Pep,
Yes, dude.
even if I did not like the movie too much, I'd say the most impactful fight in the movies itself,
Yeah.
for me, was the one in Mustafar. Because, that was like the most, that was the heaviest for me.
Yeah, it is.
While like technicality wise, the whole fight with Darth Maul was interesting. Like the whole impact and feeling of the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan was
Wow.
actually very meaningful. And I'm not gonna choose anything from the original trilogy because the fighting
Yeah.
coordination could have been better. But it was good at first time.
Okay.
What do you guys think? How about you, Rim?
You're going to hate me for this.
Oh, we'll see about that one.
Have you
that's
guys watched Rebels?
Okay. Honestly speaking, I dropped it.
Okay. Okay. So, do you know the scene where Darth Maul and Obi-Wan fight?
Oh, this fight. Okay.
The fastest fucking fight in the world, yes.
Do you want me to explain it?
Um,
Why I think it's the best?
sure, I guess.
Okay.
Mm,
So in the initial stages of the fight, Obi-Wan takes a Form 2 stance, which is defensive stance, which is the same one that Qui-Gon Jinn took in the very first battle of Episode 1.
yeah,
So he fakes that stance, and Maul responds to it.
it's
So Obi-Wan
exactly yeah,
switches to a different stance, and this time Maul doesn't respond. And so they begin the fight, right? So you think it's all going to be like fancy and everything, but no. To its core, it's just a simple sword fight where the two end up going at it, and Maul tries to go for a head punch, and he fails because Obi-Wan strikes downwards and kills Maul. For me, that shows the amount of wisdom that Obi-Wan had and how he learned Maul's strategy all this time. And he was able to defeat Maul because Maul never really grew from that one trick that he always used
yeah.
as a Sith Lord.
Okay,
That's why I think it's one of the best Star Wars fights because it was simple, but it showed so much lore behind it at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah. How about
Sandro.
yeah.
Sandro?
Okay, mine's actually more for like a storyline character arc perspective.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to go to Obi-Wan and Anakin fight in episode
must
3 because I think that that fight actually gave the viewers a complete how do you what's the term for it, like a complete view on why exactly Anakin became Darth Vader, how he became Darth Vader, the tension between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how Obi-Wan realized that I made a mistake with Anakin.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
How about you, Pep?
Okay, so it's kind of funny because like both of you are talking about it right now, and I just said that it was my, you know, it was my personal favorite movie. But if we're talking lightsaber fights, like I'm gonna go to Legends and say Satil Shan versus Darth Malgus.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
So essentially, how the battle goes is um before that fight, um her master was killed by Malgus, right? And he helped her escape, and she was powerless, a Padawan. She returns to the battlefield, a Jedi Master, and she tears him down so well, so well, with her ability of using the Force and her lightsaber. Like, I can't see any possible way to ever replicate something of that gravity in a live action setting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
How long was the
Hmm?
recording? How
I don't
long's the
know. It's
recording?
not yet done recording. Oh,
Yeah.
you dumbass. We haven't
Oh
even
yeah.
like signed off yet.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is the only part I'm gonna cut. um, all right. So with all of that said, thank you everyone for whoever watched till the end with us. Uh, I'm Pep,
Junie and our guests for this episode are
Rift
Sandro.
and
and
thank
Jaime, who is now long gone with the Force.
yeah.
All right. Happy
May the
May the
Fourth.
4th, and we'll
See
see you
y'all
in the
next
next
episode.
episode.